I'd like to share an experience I had a few weeks ago. I was at work and I was taking measurements, and I was listening to my headphones, and the song 40 came on my Spotify playlist by U2. And the very next measurement I took was 40 inches. I thought, well, that was kind of a neat coincidence. Maybe I'll read Psalms 40 later. After I got done measuring, I get this group text, and it's from my friend Amy, and she's encouraging all of us to read Psalms 40. This is in the space of like 15 minutes. Now, the first coincidence, that was easy to dismiss as, not much, but the second one, it was kind of like God was telling me maybe I need to read Psalms 40. And I shared this with people in the group text because I thought it was pretty cool. The day before, I was listening to Spotify to an interview with Sir Desmond Tutu, and he quoted Albert Einstein, who said, "Coincidence is God's way of remaining anonymous." And I thought that's an interesting saying. What does that mean? But the more I thought about it, I realized that, it's easy to dismiss things as coincidence. And if God is trying to tell us something, trying to get through to us, it's easy to dismiss him if we're not open to it. Say it's a coincidence, or, whatever our excuse may be. But if we are open to what God might be trying to tell us, he can speak to us in small ways, like what might seem like a coincidence, or through the Bible, or through people around us. I'm reminded of a scripture, 1 Kings 19, 11 through 13. "And behold, the Lord passed by, and a great and strong wind rent the mountains, and broke pieces the rocks before the Lord. But the Lord was not in the wind. And after the wind, an earthquake. But the Lord was not in the earthquake. And after the earthquake, a fire. But the Lord was not in the fire. But after the fire, a still small voice." So Elijah heard it, and he wrapped his face in his mantle, and he went out and stood in the entrance of the cave. And behold, there came a voice unto him and said, "What are you doing here, Elijah?" Interestingly, Elijah was running from people who were trying to kill him. And maybe he needed a break. But at that point, God spoke to him and told him to go ahead and go on and go about his business. What about Psalms 40? After my coincidence, I decided to read Psalms 40. And I'll read the first couple verses here. It says, "I waited patiently for the Lord, and he inclined and heard my cry. He brought me up out of a horrible pit, out of the miry clay, and he set my feet on a rock and established my goings." Now, I looked up miry clay in the Strong's Concordance, and it basically means sticky mud. Have you ever stepped in mud? It's kind of annoying, right? Getting mud stuck on your shoes. What about, have you ever got a car stuck in mud and had a hard time getting it out? That can be really annoying. Have you ever been stuck in a pit of sticky mud? I mean, that sounds like something surreal, like something out of a movie, or something Navy SEALs would have to go through, or Fear Factor, or something like that. In World War I, during the Battle of Passchendaele, things got so bad that the battlefield literally became a sea of mud. I mean, the bombs and everything tore up this farmland. The irrigation was destroyed. The drainage ditches, it was just bomb holes everywhere. And literally soldiers get stuck in this mud. They would sink, down to their knees and their waist, and their equipment would sink. It was just a terrible mess. And it was so bad that Many of the soldiers literally drowned in pits of mud. I mean, how horrible is that? So, have you ever felt stuck in a rut, stuck in a situation, stuck in emotional turmoil, stuck in a sin that you seem like you keep going back to, like you're stuck in a horrible pit of sticky mud? Well, this was David's testimony, that he felt like what he was going through was like being in this horrible pit of sticky mud and he was going to die there. That's what he felt like. But he called out to God, and God brought him out of his circumstances. I'll read this again. I waited patiently for the Lord, and he inclined and heard my cry. He brought me up out of a horrible pit, out of the miry clay. He set my feet upon a rock and established my goings. He's put a new song in my mouth, praise unto my God. Many shall see it and fear and shall trust in the Lord. What I got out of this first few verses of this was that no matter what I'm going through, no matter what I feel like, whenever I'm going through these kind of things, or if I feel stuck, I've got to call out to God. I got to pray. I got to read his word. I got to meditate. And I've got to trust him for whatever happens, because I know that he's working on me, working in me, working on my life. And he's not going to leave me where I'm at, but he's going to guide my steps. He's going to put me on that solid rock, the rock of Christ. And I'm encouraged by that because, often I go through things like we all do. We have our ups and downs, and, I feel stuck sometimes. And just making this video was such a challenge for me. It took me well over a month to get to this point where I could even make this video. But, I prayed about it. Like what I think God wanted me to do. He wanted me to rely on him. I hope that you got something from that. I hope it was encouraging to you. And God bless and have a good day.
He set my feet up on a rock and made my footsteps firm. Many will see and fear, and I will sing a new song. I will sing a new song. I long to sing your songs. I long to sing your songs. I long, I long, I long, I long to sing your songs. Blessed is the man who makes the Lord his trust and respects not the proud nor such as turn aside to lie.